Guru Pyara Sat Sangat Ji, Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh. As we sit in the presence of our Siddhi Guru Granth Sahib and have that great honor, we have to remember that sometimes in this life that we live, that we have to reach out. What that means is that in life there's problems sometimes, but we have to find a way through those. Siddhi Guru Granth Sahib Ji Maharaj gives us a way to understand this life, a way to understand how to live, a way to reach out and find in ourselves a peace, a hedge, a calmness. In this time of Kali Yuga is a darker age, and we know what is happening all over the world. There's much destruction, wars, and unhappiness. When Guru Nanak Dev Ji came to this world, this planet, this earth, at a time when change had to happen, that we could no longer live in a world that separated a human being, like us, a human being, from God. Before Guru Nanak Dev Ji, they said that God lives over here and you live here. Guru Nanak Dev Ji said, nay, he said, that's not true. He said that you and God are one, that inside of you lives that God. He said, Ek Omkar, that there's one God, and that one God is the same for everyone. That every single person, human being, can experience God within themselves, within inside of our heart. Before Guru Nanak Dev Ji, no one said that truth. And even he said there's no religion. He said, have no rituals. That one should only meditate on the name of God. Vaheguru, Vaheguru, Vaheguru. He said, if one meditates only on God's name, Vaheguru, that one can find peace and happiness in their life. But sometimes we don't hear that. We think, what, oh, happiness, if I have enough money, right? If I just have enough money, I'll be happy. That's all. But happiness comes from the heart. Happiness comes from your calmness, your peace. But we have to find that peace inside of ourselves. So Guruji directs us to that peace, shows us the pathway to peace. Peace in this world will not come through war. We will not have peace in this world through war. We'll have peace when the awareness, we can say, consciousness we call it, when the awareness within each human being is to live in peace. Guru Nanak Dev Ji taught, accept everyone, be tolerant. And Satsangaji, that is the most powerful message. But not only did he teach that we should have tolerance, not only that he taught that we should accept everybody, more than that, he taught that we should live it. That's the hard part, isn't it? It's not hard, but we make it hard. Because Guru Nanak Dev Ji didn't go, he was going to create a religion. He didn't say, oh, I'm going to create Sikh religion. He didn't. He taught a Sikh way of life, a way of living, day to day, to balance. Understand balance. If you have that scale, you put too much on one side, what happens? Goes up this way. You put too much on that side, goes this way. He said balance. And that balance has to be in our mind, our body, and what we call spirit. Through Gurbani, our Atma, soul, becomes Paramatma, experience of infinite soul. Atma, soul, through Gurbani, that Atma is raised up. And through that experience, then we feel God. It's not difficult. Guru Nanak taught what? 3 basic, simple principles of life. Kirit karo, work hard, do your work, be part of this society, share in this society. Vanchak, he said, share what you have. Dasvan, give 10% of what you earn. Give it to God, give it to Guru. And Nam Simran, meditate. Meditate on God's name. So there would be a balance in our lives. And we can go forward and be successful, happy. Guru Nanak Dev Ji taught happiness. He didn't teach sadness. So why are we sad? Why do we have sad faces? Why aren't we happy? Because we don't trust it. So we fight. Whenever we don't have what that word is called, trust, whenever we don't trust anything, we fight. Guru Nanak Dev Ji said, stop the fighting and be happy. Within one's own being, self, and one's own soul, Atma. And how do we find that happiness? He gave the simple, I said it, didn't I? 3 basic understandings. Work hard, share what you have, and meditate. That was it. And through that experience, one can find happiness and be happy wherever you are. But we don't do that. We don't feel that. But Satsangaji, times are shifting. Times are changing. It's not the same. This world is different. In this Kali Yuga, dark age, 2 things are happening. One is those who are in power are being challenged. And number 2, we're growing. We're growing in our awareness to want to make change and to make change happen. And as Sikhs, as Khalsa, we have to make those changes happen. We can't live the same. It's a different world. But how do we stay ahead in that world? It's simple. Through Gurbani. Gurbani will carry us when nothing else will carry us. Do we not read in Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji Maharaj where Guru says, hang on to me, hold on to me, and I'll carry you across this world ocean. You don't have to fight. Trust. That's all Guru asks. If we don't change as a Sangat, what will happen? If we don't grow as a Sangat, then what happens? Our children won't grow. We had a beautiful evening at the fundraiser, honoring the Sahibzadis. And it was so beautiful, wasn't it, to see our children, our young people in Bana, They were so beautiful and they were very happy. And that's the future we have to create. Give them that experience of what Guru has brought. Guru Gobind Singh Ji gave us a form so that we wouldn't forget in our own hearts who we are. He gave us Bana, Panchkakar, so we would have an identity. And he knew the science. He said, keep your hair. Because hair is not just something that sits there. Hair is living. And when we cut our hair, we cut that part of our life. When I was a child growing up, before I even knew what Sikhi was, I had never seen. I had a big fight with my parents at 10 years old and 12 years old. And my biggest fight with them was that I didn't want to cut my hair. And we weren't Sikh. I had never heard of Sikh. But in my mind, something said, don't cut your hair, let it grow. That was my biggest fight. At age 14, I started to let my hair grow, and I never cut it. It wasn't until 10 years later that I came to the feet of the Guru at 24. So something already inside of me was changing. Guru was already working through me. As I have that honor to sit today with you in the presence of our Sri Guru Granth Sahib. What an honor in one's life. I came from Toronto. I was born in Toronto. Grew up in downtown Toronto. But I became Khalsa. How did that happen? I was searching for truth. And my mind said somewhere in this planet is truth. And I was going to find it. And I was very happy that day when I came to the presence of Sri Guru Granth Sahib, and my life changed forever. From that moment that I did matta take at the feet of the Guru, I didn't even know what that was, where I was even. My life changed forever. And Guru came into my heart. And now for 40 years with you, a long time, my beard was black like Sarvajit Singh's when I came. Now I'm very gray. What did Guru teach me? Guru taught me to love myself. Guru taught me to love you. And Guru gave me a new start in my life. And then I knew after some years that by Guru's Kirpa, I had to spread this teaching to the whole world. That everyone in the world, every person, should know who we are, should know what is Khalsa, and should know the name of Guru Nanak. And in these last 20 years, we've traveled the world to spread these simple teachings. I tell our young people they should make those stickers and those buttons. Sikh is unique. And we are unique. But we have to share it with the world. It's not just in our own cultures and our own communities, but our Sangats have to spread to the world. And these young ones, these young adults and young people have the courage, because the world needs us. In 1982, I took my Amrit Tuck in 1982. And when I bowed at the feet of the Guru, I said, My life is yours, is no longer my life. I go where you send me. I do your work. It wasn't easy. I had to change within myself and grow and learn. The path of Sikh Dharma is not an easy pathway for any of us. It's a challenge to live. Our gurus brought a teaching that raises a human being beyond what we think we can become. Not that we're better than somebody, we're not. In fact, we're taught to be lower than anyone. But we're taught to have courage and strength and discipline. We saw last night the beautiful Gatka that our children were doing, and we saw their discipline. That we have to bring to our lives. And together, Sangat. Vaheguru, 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 Vaheguru. Satsangat. Vaheguru, 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 Vaheguru. Feel in the presence of our Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji Maharaj a beautiful light. And let that light shine into your heart. And Guru shall give us that healing and give us that light. When we sit in the presence of our Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji Maharaj, we are taken to a different world, to a journey, to take us out of this everyday life and bring us to our enlightenment, our happiness, and our joy. Every day as we hear the Hukanama of our Guru and guides us to our true path. And what is that true path? What is that truth in our own heart? Always to find ourselves. We can live this life and just be emotion and yell and scream. Guru teaches us there's 3 choices to live in this life. One choice, Guru says, you can live as an animal. Bark at each other. Have you seen 2 dogs? They bark at each other, right? But you see, even worse, that we bark at each other is even worse. Guru says that we call living as an animal. And living in as an animal means that we live at each other. And then Guru says, well, you can live as a human. You'll try to make things work, get a job, have family, see if you can survive, do this and that. That's called living as a human. If living as animals at each other, then living as a human is called living with each other. But Guru says the highest way of life at the feet of our Guru, to vibrate Vaheguru, Vaheguru, to be in what we called enlightenment. So if living as an animal is living at each other, living as a human is to live with each other. Our Guru says the highest way of life is to live for each other. And when we can learn to live for each other, that is what we call Sangat. Because Sangat lives for each other. So not one of us will ever fall. That is the lesson we learned from our Char Sahibzade. To never fall, no matter what. Even in that battle, they didn't fall. They gave all that they could give. And the young ones who were bricked alive didn't give up for 1 minute. They were in pain. They didn't give 1 minute up for anything except the truth. Not only just that their father was Guru Gobind Singh Ji, but because they believed and trusted in God, that God would carry them. Guru Gobind Singh Ji Maharaj, he's our father too. He gives us that courage in our life to stand when we think everything is falling apart and everything is falling down around us. But we don't. Did we hear our children sing? We are the Khalsa, mighty, mighty Khalsa. They believe it. What is the test of this time, of this Kali Yuga for our Sangat? That we believe it and hold that into our hearts. And I know that we can do it. I don't have one doubt. And if I can't do it in my lifetime, my commitment to you and to these young ones is that they have that realization in their lifetime. But we're made of steel. Nobody shall bend us. And we shall be strong, and Khalsa shall rule. Guru Gobind Singh Ji had a vision. He said, Khalsa shall be 960 million strong. And it shall be, as every word of our Guru is true. So Satsangat Ji, let us trust in our tomorrow. Continue to grow and to learn. We can always change, but have the strength and the courage to face your tomorrow happy, bright, and beautiful.
Vaheguru, 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 Vaheguru. Pavalan Madhur